Guys, magandang araw. I'm Faith Romantico and I'm from Group 7 at ang mga kasama ko ay sina Kayla Diana, Stephanie Maika, and si Sofia Lois. So, para sa lesson at activity natin regarding ecosystem, ang napili namin ay isa siyang grassland near our community here in Tingran. So, it is an open area that looks like a farm, filled with different types of grasses, wildflowers, and various animals like cows, goats, frogs, butterflies, and insects. So, this ecosystem is a vibrant space where plants and animals live and interact, supporting each other in a balanced natural environment. So, the grassland not only provides food and shelter for wildlife, but also plays an important role in keeping the soil healthy and supporting the local community's agriculture. So, let's proceed naman sa mga flora and fauna na na-investigate namin sa place na pinuntahan namin. So, ayan nga, nakikita nyo dyan yung place na pinuntahan namin. So, isa siyang bakanteng lote na dati siyang sawmill na tinatawag namin Duwico. Bakanteng lote siya na may para siyang farm animals like yung cows nga. So, nakikita nyo dun sa likod, mga cows yon. So, may mga goats din dyan kasi nga sila yung nagme-maintain ng taas dyan ng mga damo. Ang 10 flora and fauna naman na na-investigate namin sa place na pinuntahan namin ay ang may binubuo itong mga different types of grasses, which is yung lemongrass, carabao grass, cogon grass, Bermuda grass, guinea grass, alemon grass, and centipede grass. So, nakikita natin sa picture ngayon ay ang tinatawag nating lemongrass sa nasa taas at sa nasa baba naman ay ang carabao grass. Ang nasa taas ay lemongrass na tinatawag natin sa Tagalog na tanglad. Panigurado nakakita naman na halos lahat sa atin yan. So, ito ay aromatic grass often used in cooking and medicinal purposes. Sa baba naman, ang carabao grass, isa siyang low-growing resilient grass common in tropical areas. So, lagi akong nakakakita niyang dalawa na yan kasi yun sa nasa taas, ginagamit yan sa kalimitan, dinadagdag yan sa mga niluluto ni nanay. Sa baba naman, meron kami yan sa bahay kasi may garden kami. And sa school din, talagang yung lower quadrangle namin, puno ng carabao grass. Ganyan din sa pinuntahan namin. Dahil halo-halo nga yung different types of grasses. Ang ikatlo at ikaapat naman ay ang cogon grass at ang Bermuda grass. Sa taas, ang cogon grass, isa siyang tall, hardy grass that can spread quickly. Sa baba naman, ang Bermuda grass, isa siyang drought-tolerant grass often used in lawns. Ang ikalima at ang ika-anim naman ay ang guinea grass at ang aleman grass. Ang guinea grass ay isa siyang tall grass often used as fodder for livestock. Ang aleman grass naman, isa siyang creeping type of grass with small delicate blades. Ang ika-anim at ika-pito naman, ang nasa taas ay tinatawag nating centipede grass na kasama sa different types of grasses na nakita or na-investigate natin sa place. At ang isa naman ay ang wildflowers. Ang centipede grass ay isa siyang low-maintenance grass with a slow growth rate. Habang ang wildflowers naman, isa siyang various color species that thrive in open areas like yung grassland nga. Ang pang number 9 naman ay ang tinatawag nating sedges at ang number 10 ay ang native shrubs. Ang sedges, grass-like plants with triangular stems, commonly found in wet areas, gaya na lamang ng grassland dahil open area nga siya, diretso yung bagsak ng water. So, ang native shrubs naman, isa siyang small flowering shrubs that provides habitat and food for various species. So, dako naman tayo ngayon sa 10 faunas na investigate namin sa place. So, unang-una na ang cows. At ang ikalawa ay ang goats. So, ang cows, isa siyang grazing animals that feed on various grasses and plants. Alam naman natin yan. Gaya na lamang din ng goats or yung kambing. Hardy animals that browse on a variety of vegetations including shrubs. Ang ikatlo at ikaapat naman ay ang chicken. At ang ikalima ang frogs. Kitang-kita nyo naman sa taas, ang paboritong anak ni tatay. At ang nasa baba naman, paboritong kinakain ng karamihan. Dahil para daw chicken joy. So, ang chicken, domesticated birds that forage for insects, seeds, and plants. So, matatagpuan siya dun sa place na yon kasi nga malapit siya sa community and may caretaker nga din yung place na yon kaya nag-aalaga sila ng tawag dito, ng chicken. So, dahil nga grassland siya at may soil doon, maaari din nilang kainin yung mga earthworms, yung mga bulate doon. Sa frogs naman, so sila yung kumakain sa mga insects like grasshoppers and mosquitoes. So, number 5 ang mosquitoes and number 6 ang grasshoppers. So, mosquitoes, alam naman natin yan, mga lamok. Kung walang lamok, walang dengue. Alam mo ba? Alam mo ba? So, ang mosquitoes ay common insects that breed in standing water and are often found in grassland. While yung grasshoppers, si Happy, ang alaga ni Gabi, isa siyang insect na nag-feed on grass and are common sight in open fields like yung grassland na matatagpuan sa malapit sa community namin. Ikapito ay ang butterflies and number 7 ang number 8 ay ang beetles or salagubang. So ang butterfly isa siyang species na attracted to wildflowers and grasses. So yung butterfly nakakatulong din siya sa pagpo-pollinate or yung pagpo-pollinate ng flowers. So ang beetles naman, isa siyang species or isa siyang species na nabubuhay sa mga grasses and shrubs. Ang ika-9 naman ay ang snakes, non-venomous snakes that prey on small animals and insects. So, maaari silang kumain ng chicken, frogs, so yung maliliit na animals doon. Sabi kasi ng mga tao doon, dahil nga madamo, may ahas daw doon at binabawalan din yung mga kabataang maglaro doon. Pero makukulit din yung mga bata sa amin at pumupunta doon para maglaro. Kasi nga, isa siyang grassland. And ang ika-10 naman ay ang birds. Small bird that forage for seeds and insects in the grass like this. Isa siyang maya or tinatawag ding ibong tiririt. So, yung 10 flora and fauna, hindi naman sinasabing yun lang lahat yung meron dun sa place na yun. So, this flora and fauna contribute to the biodiversity and ecological balance of community grassland. So, in community grassland ecosystem, the following 3 abiotic factors are commonly present. So, yung mga flora and fauna na yan, yung mga biotic factors natin na yan, hindi naman sila mabubuhay ng sila-sila lang yung nag-i-interact. So, may mga abiotic factors din na nakakatulong para magpatuloy yung buhay nila. So, alamin natin kung ano-ano nga ba yun. So, unang-una na nga ang sunlight. So, ang sunlight, essential siya for photosynthesis in plants. So, sunlight provides the energy needed for grass and other vegetation to grow. It also influences temperature and the overall climate of the grassland. So, ikalawa naman ay ang soil or yung lupa. The type and quality of soil including its texture, nutrient content, and water retention capacity are crucial for the growth of grasses and other plants. So, soil composition affects which plants thrive in the grassland. So, ikatlo naman ay ang water. Availability of water, whether from rainfall, dew, or nearby water resources is critical for sustaining plant life and the animals that depend on the vegetation for food and shelter. Water also influences humidity and temperature in the ecosystem. So, these abiotic factors plays a significant role in shaping the grassland ecosystem, affecting the types of species that can survive and thrive in there. So, the habitat choice of each organism identified in the grassland ecosystem is closely related to the availability and characteristics of the abiotic factors present, like sunlight, soil, and water. So, here's how these factors influence the habitat selection and survival of the flora and fauna. So, sa flora natin, yung different types of grasses. So, nabubuhay sila talaga sa areas na may plenty of sunlight, which is abundant in grassland. So, they have adapted to different types of soil from well-drained to slightly compact and can tolerate varying water availability, making grasslands ideal habitats. So, wildflowers naman, so, gaya din ng ang tawag dito natin, different type of grasses naman, yung wildflower din, mas prefer din nila yung open sunny areas na can often be found in nutrient-rich patches of soil. So, they are well suited to grasslands where competition for sunlight is minimal due to the shorter heights of grasses. Habang ang sedges and shrubs naman ay kalimitang nakikita sa wetter areas of grasslands such as near ponds or ditches where the soil retains more moisture. They utilize the available sunlight and benefit from specific soil types that retain water. Sa fauna naman, yung iba't ibang klase ng animals natin na nabubuhay doon sa grassland na pinuntahan namin, like yung cows and goats. So, dahil sila ay grazing animals na napiling na mas maganda na mabuhay sa grassland dahil nga sa abundance of grasses and shrubs na nagpo-provide sa kanila ng steady food supply. So, the open spaces and ample sunlight support the growth of their preferred vegetation. So, sa chickens naman, yung grassland naman, dun sila namumuhay dahil sa availability of insects, seeds, and grasses for foraging. So, nabubuhay sila sa sunny areas where they can find food easily on the ground and can also take shelter under the shrubs where needed. So, dahil nga yung chicken, nabubuhay din sila sa mga soil. So, sa soil, may mga seeds doon, may mga earthworms, yung mga bolate. Sa frogs naman, nakikita sila kalimitan sa wetter parts of grassland like near ditches and temporary pools. So, these areas provide the moisture they needed for their skin and breeding. Sa mosquitoes naman, dahil sa grassland, dahil mas pinipili nila din sa grassland dahil sa standing water or moist area kung saan pwede silang mag-lay ng eggs nila. So, the presence of water is crucial for their life cycle from larva to adult. Sa grasshoppers and beetles naman, so, nabubuhay nga sila daw, diba, sa mga dahon-dahon, sa mga damo-damo, dahil yung grasshoppers, so, kinakain niya yung mga dahon. Yun yung nagpo-provide sa kanila ng food and habitat. So, sunlight and soil temperature affect their activity levels and reproductive cycles. Ang butterflies naman, sinaselect nila yung grassland dahil sa abundance of wildflowers which serves as nectar source. So, they rely on sunlight to regulate their body temperature, making sunny grassland an ideal habitat. Sa snake naman, ito ay isa din sa habitat nila dahil na sa availability ng prey like small mammals and insects, like yung frogs nga, small animals like frogs, chickens, the open area with plenty of sunlight help them thermoregulate while grasses and shrubs offer hiding spots. Ang ikawalo naman ay ang birds. So, yung birds, naselect nila yung grassland for their habitat due to the abundance of seeds and insects. So, the open environment with scattered shrubs provide nesting areas and vantage points. So, overall, the organism identified in this study choose their habitats in the grassland ecosystem based on the specific requirements for sunlight, soil, and water that best support their survival and reproduction. So, these abiotic factors directly influence the type of flora and fauna that can thrive in the grassland, leading to a diverse and balanced ecosystem. So, para naman ipakita sa atin ang illustration ng food chain, food web, at ang pyramid of numbers dun sa napili naming ecosystem, ay ipapaliwanag na yon ng mga kagrupo ko, which is si Kayla, si Stephanie Maika, and si Sophia Lois.
In a food chain, energy flows from one organism to another. Our primary producer is the grass, that uses sunlight to produce food through photosynthesis. So our primary consumer is the grasshopper that eats the grass to get energy. So our secondary consumer is the frog that eats the grasshoppers. Then the snakes comes in as a tertiary consumer that eats the frog. Finally, the top of the chain is the hawk, the quaternary consumer. Pero syempre, when the hawk's lives end, fungi, bacteria, and worms steps in. They break down its remains and returning nutrients to the soil para makuha ulit ng grass. The whole cycle flow from one creature to another in a never-ending loop.
Hello and good day everyone. My name is Sofia Luis Mariano and I am from 1BSA-2 and I am here to present my part, which is the food web. So let me start off with a discussion of the food web. Food web is every food chain inside a single environment is called the food web. Every organism inside an ecosystem is a member of several food chains. One possible route that nutrients and energy could travel as they pass through the ecosystem is through each food chain. Food web is made up of all of an ecosystem's overlapping and interrelated feeding systems. So as you can see here, we have on the screen is a food web, example of a food web. So as you can see here, a food web, all living things depend on each other for food in the wild. It illustrates the intricate interactions between many creatures for feeding. So let's start off with an example. As you can see here, from this side, we have a grasshopper and then we have a grass. So you will know that the grasshopper eats the grass. And then the grass is part of the producers. And what is producers? Producers are organisms that make their own food, also known as autotrophs. They get energy from chemicals or the sun, and with the help of water, convert that energy into usable energy in the form of sugar or food. The most common example of producers are plants. You will know that the grass is a very good example of producers. That's why we have it here, right there. Producers. Examples: grass, wildflowers, and shrubs. So as you can see here, we have a frog right there. Frogs may also eat grasshoppers. Or other than grasshoppers, frogs may eat any small animals that goes their way in the wild, such as crickets, grasshoppers, spiders, what else? Small birds, anything. On the other hand, snake, right here, snakes eats the frog. So technically, frogs are being eaten by snakes. Only that, beside frogs, snakes also eat cockroaches, rats, mice, what else? Lizards, snails, toads, birds, and so on. And let me just rephrase what I just said. Frogs are eaten by snakes, then eaten by hawks. And we have beetles. See that red ladybug right over there? Okay. Beetles might feed on dead plants or animals and are eaten by birds or frogs. So, to sum it all up, food web consists of all the food chains in a single ecosystem. Right here it says it illustrates the intricate interactions between many creatures for feeding. So, tertiary consumers are snakes and larger birds, right there. And quaternary consumers are hawks and large predators. And secondary consumers are frogs, small birds, beetles, and primary consumers are grasshoppers, cows, goats, and chickens. Lastly, we have producers. Those are grass, wildflowers, and shrubs.
The pyramid of number is a graphical representation showing the relative numbers of each organism at trophic level in an ecosystem. First is the producers or vase. This level consists of organisms like grass and other plants. They are the most abundant because they are autotrophs, converting sunlight into energy via photosynthesis. They provide the energy foundation for all higher levels. The second on this pyramid is the primary consumers. These are herbivores such as grasshoppers, cows, and goats that feeds on the producers, such as the plants. These are fewer primary consumers than producers, as they rely on the large number of plants for food. The third one is the secondary consumers. These animals, like frogs, chicken, beetles, eat the primary consumers. Since energy is lost,
as heat and through metabolic process. When it moves from producer to primary consumer, the fewer secondary consumers can be supported. The fourth one on the pyramid is the tertiary consumers. Predators like snakes feed on secondary consumers. With each step up on the food chain, only about 10% of the energy is passed on, so even fewer tertiary consumers exist. And the last one is the quaternary consumers, or also known as the top predators. Hawks and other predators sit at the top of the pyramid. They feed on tertiary consumer and are the smallest group in number because they all depend on the energy below, which result to less energy available for them. This pyramid demonstrates how energy loss as at each stage limit the number of organisms that can be sustained at high trophical levels. For example, there must be a large number of plants to support herbivores, which in turn supports the fewer carnivores. The higher level the trophic, the fewer the number of organisms.